All right. Well, I think we're live. I believe we're live. Yes. Cool. Welcome, everybody, to today's live lesson. We've got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. I know it's been a while, or maybe not. I mean, time is relative. Time is subjective. But for me, it's been a while. I haven't done a live stream in a little while, so we do have a lot of things to talk about today in this Cloud English live show. And I'm excited for it. As usual, I will be answering questions, of course. We're also going to be looking at some, I think, another TikTok mystery, some interesting TikTok videos. I need some feedback on that. And we're going to be looking at a Squid Game English, so I'm excited about that. I'm sure you know what Squid Game is. And what else? What else? Oh, yes, another one. Regional dialects. We'll get to that too. And, of course, questions and answers. Well, questions definitely. Answers maybe. It depends. As I take a sip of coffee, I welcome the viewers. Please say hello. Please say where you're watching from, and think about questions that you have. Maybe you're struggling with your pronunciation. Maybe you don't understand idioms. Maybe you have a grammar point that's difficult. Maybe you just need a path forward, the right way to see things. Yeah, all of that stuff and more. Cultural differences and so on. Ask away, friendly friends. I'm here to answer your questions. All right? All right. If you haven't already done so, one thing you can do to support the channel in general, and every time you see a video of mine go up, it's the number one thing you can do. You can hit the like button. You can leave a comment as well, but definitely at least hit the like button if you support the channel. That's the most important thing that you can do. Or the dislike button, honestly, that seems to help as well. I mean, I don't know if it makes a difference, really. But, I mean, all things considered, I suppose a like button is always preferable. But whatever you're feeling. Might regret saying that. What else? Well, so November is usually the time when sales start. So right now, if you look in the link in the description, it should be the top link in the description. You will see a discount offer for a 1-year membership for my courses. That includes all my courses. Those are now on sale in a big way. And you can do a 7-day trial to try that out, to check it out. So there's no risk to yourself. It includes hours and hours of useful English learning content. So now's the time to grab that. That certainly will not last forever. What else? Let's see. There may be a small period of time in December where I'll kind of not be very active, potentially moving into a new house. So it depends on how much is involved in that and getting the studio set up and everything there. I'm not sure how long that's going to take. I've been in this studio for quite some time, so there's going to be a lot of setup to do to get the camera and the lights and all that stuff working, of course. Oh yeah, and if you haven't already done so, don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, you should subscribe. Very important. Very important. I'm on my second cup of coffee for the day. It's 1:34 p.m. So I think all things considered, we're in good shape. We're in good shape. All right, let's see who we've got in today. Vissel's here. Lolly, good to have you back. Potter and Z and Lopez Fatima. Hello, Fatima. Good to have you here. Is that the one and only Fatima Books? You like my hairstyle? Oh, well, thank you, but this is a disaster of a hairstyle. I mean, this is what happens when I grow my hair out, unfortunately. Vissel's from the Ukraine. Tell me about the secrets of breaking the rules. Always with the stative questions. The statives. Every time with the statives. We'll get to it someday, for sure. One of these days, 100%. Z's from Saudi Arabia. Good to have you here. Wow, it's always great to have Lolly here. Yeah, who doesn't like coffee? Vissel's here from Facebook, so that's good. You guys can watch from Facebook. Mostly I am on YouTube, but Facebook is good. Twitch, maybe. I don't know if we're actually live on Twitch. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, this is what happens, unfortunately, with my hair. So it's quite thick, right? So one time when I was in my early 20s, I thought, ooh, it'll be cool if I try to grow my hair out. That'll be cool. I want to grow it down like a cool guy. This is my thinking at the time. And I kept growing and growing, and I kept thinking, okay, one of these days it's going to go down. That's what hair does when you grow it out, right? It just kept going like this, going up and up and up and out, but never down. And so it just eventually got ridiculous. And so I just cut it. So I think I'm just not suited for long flowing hair because it's just too much. It's too thick, right? And you can see it's already started here. The sides are going out, but it will just keep going out on the sides. It will never end. So it's time for a haircut for sure. Got a video on haircuts if you want to check that out as well. How to talk about English related to haircuts. You can check the channel for that. That's a classic. I actually went to a barber shop to get the haircut for the video. And whenever I go back there, I still go there. They always say, hey, remember that video we did? Yeah. A couple of cool old guys who work there. Karina, hello. Karina says, I love your hair. What's up with these comments about hair? I appreciate it, guys, but I almost didn't do a live stream today because of the stupid hair. At least I thought it was. Shows you what I know. Okay. Well, it's going to be gone soon, so enjoy it while it lasts, I guess. You have a question about grammar issue. Okay, what grammar issue do you have a question about? Fatima Nicole, last week I signed a contract in a call center. Spanish is my maternal idiom. And I'm really nervous and anxious in this moment. I think I can understand English, but in my mind I don't have a structure. That's great. I mean, it's great that you've identified the problem. When you have a thing to say, right? But then you kind of get lost. This is a common thing. So let me talk about this briefly because I do like this question, and it's something that is not just true, I think, for English learners, but everybody. Right? So Fatima Nicole is wondering about working in a call center and feeling anxious that her native language is not English. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of English going on, right? So I think I can understand English, but my mind doesn't have a structure. How do you get that structure? Just like everything else, it's all about practice. But how do you practice? I would recommend that you start with very simple outlines. But you don't want to make your outlines too complicated. So what I would do if I were you in your situation to build confidence about customer service English situations. Number one, might take my course, Customer Service English. That might be a good one to choose. Number two, you want to get used to talking about the kind of things that you'll be talking about in that setting, in a customer service setting, right? How do you get used to doing that? So you ask yourself questions that you think they might ask you, and it depends on the industry. But let's just say one question is, can you help me locate where my order is? I got a notification that it had been shipped, but I'm not seeing it with the tracking number. Please help. Okay, I don't know what industry you're in, but just ask yourself a few questions. Write those questions down. Now, what you don't want to do is write a whole answer. That's a mistake, because that will force you to remember specific sentences, which might cause you to get even more confused when you're in a real live situation on a call with someone. That's when you need to be responsive. You need to be very aware of what this person is trying to communicate to you so that you can deal with their issue specifically. What you can do, though, is build a basic structure. So you ask yourself that question you've written down. And I would strongly recommend you record this. Just turn on an app, a recording app on your phone, right? Just record yourself. Spend no more than 20 seconds writing down a basic outline structure of your answer. Don't write full sentences when you do your outline. Just a bullet point or a dash, and then a word or two to simply remind yourself of what you're going to say next. So maybe you could say, mention order. That's where you're going to start. You're going to talk about the order. Or you could say order number. Or you could say confirm shipment, that it has been shipped. Point 2, what are the points that you need to hit? Just write them down quickly. Keep them very simple. A word or two, maybe 3. No full sentences. 20 seconds. Then talk through it. Practice talking through it. Now you're recording yourself. So you're on the phone with that person. You imagine you're explaining it to them on the phone. Well, I'm checking in my system and it looks like your order has been shipped. Order number, blah, 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 blah. The issue seems to be that, and then you would go on and explain based on your bullet points. If you do that 20, 30, 40 times, and you practice that over and over with different questions and different structures, eventually you're going to get comfortable talking through that outline. So you can use that then in the job itself. When someone asks you a question, as you're processing their question, you're used to writing down outlines, make a quick outline on a piece of paper. This, 4 or 5 outline points that you want to talk about. Again, very simple. Then when you answer, you feel at least comfortable knowing you have the support of your structure when you're going through your explanation. There, written down on a piece of paper, right? Or maybe on your computer screen. But then the next step would be to go beyond that, to start then practicing without the outline, getting used to the feeling of answering instinctively. Don't push yourself to do it too quickly because it's totally fine to have the outline. But I would recommend starting practicing without an outline, just talking, and you'll get, again, used to the feeling of following the flow of your thoughts. Just like you would do that in your native language, right? You get used to the feeling of following the flow of your thoughts. It's like jumping from a stepping stone, one to the next. When you get to this one, you see the next one, right? That's kind of what I'm doing right now. I don't have an outline written down to answer your question. You kind of follow the stepping stones. Then you start doing that in real life, in the conversation, when you're talking with a customer. Then you kind of got it. You're used to it. So it's all about that practice, but I would do it in stages. Don't just jump off the cliff and start answering with no support. You have that outlined there. It's very powerful as a little support structure, which can keep you safe and at least help you stay on track when you're answering someone's questions. By the way, this is true far beyond just customer service, when you're giving presentations, when you're explaining things to groups of people, when you're sitting in front of a camera talking about things. This is the process to follow. Anytime you need to share a lot of information, you want to make sure it's organized, always start practicing with the outline. Really, really powerful. That's certainly what I do, and it has helped me a lot. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Fatima Nicole, it's a really good one. I appreciate it. If you guys haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and also you can check out my full courses in the links in the description. All right, awesome, good, great. You watched the videos of customer service expressions. Okay. There's actually a full a full 6.5-hour course, Fatima, if you're interested. It's a full course on customer service English. Full 6.5-hour course. Vissel says, wishing you, Luke, a peaceful evening. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Much appreciated. Okay, so keep the questions coming, but I want to share one thing, and then I'll get back to the questions. All right? I'm going to share something with you guys, and we'll get back to the questions in a moment, in a bit. So, previously, we looked at a TikToker named Jam Master Lee, who we thought maybe was a troll. A troll is someone who really just makes content online or shares things online, maybe interacts with people online to cause problems, to make mischief for their own satisfaction, their own dark joy. We call this person a troll. And we looked at some of Jam Master Lee's TikToks live, and the answer was, after we did a poll, no answer. It was 50-50, right down the middle. Everyone didn't know. Well, people thought one way or the other, but it was a split decision. I'm still conflicted. Well, I wanted to bring another one to your attention today. Another person who some people think is a troll, some people think is genuine. And this is I'm so fascinated by this type of content. It's like a new thing that's happening where you don't know if this person is just really like this or this is an act or what. So what I want to do is I want to share another person with you, another TikToker. And I want, again, you to tell me what you think. We're going to do, as we go, we're going to do a live poll. Okay, so I'm going to be polling and sharing the results live. So if you're watching this as a recording, well, this is being recorded. This is being recorded live, okay? What we'll do is we'll look at a few of these videos, and I want you to really think deeply about this. This guy is a train spotter. He watches trains, and he makes videos about that, about watching trains. And he seems very passionate about it. I think that's true, but I leave it to your judgment. So we're going to watch a few of his videos from TikTok, and I honestly just want to know what you think about this guy. He's fascinating to me. All right, here we go. You ready? First one.
This is a class 158, and it's one of my favourite DMUs. I want to say hi.
He's got the GoPro there on his face. So 2 views. So already we notice he is being filmed by someone. Someone is filming him, and he's filming himself. All right, so that's interesting.
Hi. Oh, thank you. That was a cute honk. This is a
okay. So he seems. I mean, is he trying to be cute, or is that just his genuine personality? It gets deeper. So let's check out another one of these. This is just another one. This is his train spotting location. Train spotting is just when you watch trains. This is a hobby for many people. Many people like to watch trains.
Oh, listen to that. Whoa! That shocks me so much. That man really shocks me so much.
Okay, so that seems to me, I don't know, I don't want to push the votes, but that seems to me pretty genuine. A genuine reaction. The horn honk seems to frighten him. That seems very real.
Whoa!
But the editing is really good. So they do the cuts back and forth between his GoPro view and whoever is filming him, and it's almost like the camera person is aware that he knows he's kind of gonna be looked at as a kind of weird or cute for his hobby, but within himself it's very pure and honest. So there's sort of a mix of self-awareness or self-awareness plus a genuine interest in trains. Right, okay, let's look at a couple more here. Okay, this one's number. Okay, here we go.
Any minute now, we're going to see a Class 59 come through with some absolutely brilliant honks. I cannot wait.
He says brilliant honks. The train. He likes the train's honks. So that's another thing. Is he 12? He's like a little kid. He's so pure. So I hope he's real. I hope this is a real thing. I hope he's not a troll, because it gives me hope for humanity. So purely genuine in his love for trains.
Thanks, Gordon! Thank you, Gordon! Thanks, Gordon!
His name is Francis, by the way. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. His name is Francis. I think he knows the person in the train who's honking. He's friends with the train driver or train engineer, and they're honking because they know he's watching. He's making a video. All right. Okay, let's keep going here. Then we'll do the poll in a second. Two more I want to show you.
Recently, I've seen a lot of comments.
So okay, this is where it gets more interesting. Now he is addressing the question about whether he's a troll or not. So do you see a comment on the screen here? Yeah, he's fake. A lot of people in the comments, if you look at the comments, just like with Jam Master Lee, say this fake. This guy's a troll. He's just doing this for views. He doesn't really love trains. So he's now addressing the issue in the comments about the accusations that he doesn't really love trains. But then this video addressing that gives me more doubt about whether or not he really loves trains. This is anyway, it's very confusing. All right, let's watch this one.
That I'm just a character, or that I don't really like trains. Well, I'm going to take you back to where it all started, where my passion for trains was founded, Willesden Junction. And here, me and my dad used to sit on the platform at the weekends. And as I got older, I got my own model train set and slowly built up an epic diorama. Fast forward 15 years, I've met awesome people like Ryan, and even have my own authentic 80s conductor and train.
Is that real? What person in their 20s? Anyway.
Uniform. And I love to show you guys.
Okay, yeah, this is another thing. He got a new GoPro. This is more recent videos. He got a new GoPro that has a more extreme fisheye view of his face. So it looks like this now. It's ridiculous the way that he looks now. And that has to be for comedy, right? He has to be just trying to be funny, I think.
How awesome trains can be, as well as trying to make you smile, laugh, and just try and bring joy. And as well as train spotting, I love doing other things in my life, like going to festivals with my friends and having fun.
Yeah. So he's addressing whether or not he's really into trains. I'm not sure if that actually really addresses the issue.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to show you
another
a
one's
story.
kind of the same.
I've seen that people think I'm a troll and that I don't actually like trains, but I love
I don't know if this
trains.
music will be...
This is my special train set that I used to have, and I used to play with trains and fit black shoes and go to the gym just to fit in with everyone. But I'm over it now.
He said he used to try to fit in, but now he's over it. I think I can't have the audio here because this is a copyright song. So here he's again, someone is filming him expressing his love of trains, which shows a level of self-awareness that you wouldn't expect. All right. At the end here, he says, "I love trains so much."
I love trains so much.
Anyway, I think this guy's very funny. I think he's very special. I hope it's real. let's vote. Let's see. Does Francis? What should we say? Is Francis a troll? Is Francis a troll? And then we'll just do yes and no. Okay? Is Francis a troll? Yes or no? And then let's do it. Let's see what happens. Vote now and let me know what you think. Yes, he has a British accent. He's from England. As far as I know, I mean, I've just watched him on TikTok. I don't know anything about his real life. He seems to have had a life change event where he lost himself and then he found himself, and he realized that the thing that was his true passion was trains, and that's why his TikTok content is all about trains. But there are some that are just almost too ridiculous to be real. Like there's one recently where he went to a train and he wanted to show the train in the station, but the name of the train is a ridiculous name, so purely intended as comedy. I don't know. Anyway, votes are coming in. So far, to the question of whether this man is a troll, we have got 80% say no, Francis is not a troll. 20% say yes. Well, that seems pretty decisive. So Francis is real. Francis is real. Interesting. I appreciate it, guys. Well, what do you think? Do you think Francis is a troll or not? Either way, at least he's bringing some people joy and happiness. Certainly for me. All right, guys, if you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out my full courses in the links in the description. All right. Not a troll. Everyone thinks not a troll. 83% now. 83% say not a troll. Wow, great. No, I don't know. I don't think he has a YouTube channel, honestly. Maybe he does, but I haven't seen it. You can just search his name on TikTok. So again, his name on TikTok is Francis Bourgeois, Bourgeois. Was that Bourgeois or Bourgeois? He's on TikTok. I have no idea if he has a YouTube channel or not. Happy to see you, Luke. Thanks for your attractive videos. Oh, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Much appreciated, guys. All right. Well, I think I can get to some other questions now. If I've missed any, let me see. Oh, yeah, sorry. If you guys missed the troll, so I can only post the poll in one place. So the poll is only on YouTube. You have to be watching on YouTube. I'm sorry, Twitch viewers and Facebook viewers, I can't post it all in one place. And unfortunately, Restream doesn't allow me to post polls to all of them at the same time, although that would be very cool if I could, but I cannot. It's unfortunate. As I mentioned earlier, we're doing promotion for the annual membership. If you click on the link in the description, if you want to access all of my courses, you can do that. You can do that with the link. You can do a trial, and then it's 50% off the annual membership. That's the yearly membership, access to all the courses. Big discount going on right now because it's November, and November is the season for sales. It's a fall sale. Hello, Aleda. Good to see you as well. Potter says he's got a natural laugh and smile. I don't think he's faking it. Yeah. I lean toward agreeing with you, although some of his videos definitely cast doubt on that. Yeah, you know what the so wow, KCB says from Twitch. At least link the YouTube in your profile or something. I agree. I'm sorry about that. Here's the thing. I don't really don't really put much attention on Twitch, and maybe I should, because historically people don't really go to Twitch to watch English content. It's more YouTube, Facebook type stuff. But if you're there, so I should support that. I totally agree. You know what? My bad. Absolutely my bad. I will get on that and make sure that I'm supporting the Twitchsters, if I can call you that. All right, yeah, let me see if I missed any questions here. Native speakers talk very fast when they're on the phone. That's true. I understand English, but afraid to talk with anyone. Sorry to hear that. Gotta just be confident and try. Give it a try. Okay. Just trying to see if I missed anything from earlier. You wish you had a British accent. Yeah. Although, you wouldn't want to have a fake British accent, right? That would be no good. A fake British accent, there's nothing worse than that. Or that's same as a fake American accent. It's an interesting question is, should you try to have a specific accent if you're not from there? I would say, even though I have many courses and videos about American English pronunciation, I would say not necessarily. What they can do is help you get closer to a sound which is less obviously from one place. Maybe a very strong accent that might limit people understanding you. Then that could cause an issue, right? Where you're having difficulty communicating at work because people are constantly saying, sorry, I didn't catch that. Excuse me. So to get closer to a more neutral sound, if we can call it that, is a challenge and a struggle. And I hope my courses and videos about pronunciation can get you there. It's not necessarily about, try to imitate an American accent. Not necessarily. You can do that if you want to, but I think the real goal for most learners who say, I struggle with pronunciation, is getting to a place where where most people would say, you sound very natural to me, right? And having a forced accent would not be natural. So what does that natural sound mean exactly? It just means people easily understanding you and not feeling like they need to ask you all the time, sorry, what did you say? I didn't catch that. Everyone has different goals, of course. I don't want to force anyone to have certain goals. But that's what I try to accomplish with my courses and videos. I had a question about conditionals. I think we can get that. That's a good one. From, is it Vitali? Okay. So Vitaly says, "Hey Luke, what are the best way to learn conditionals?" So first of all, what is a conditional? Well, there are different types of conditionals, but usually we say conditionals are those sentences that have ifs in them, generally. So there's something that might be this way or this way, depending on something else. Simple example, if it rains tomorrow, I will stay home. That would be a very simple example of a conditional. So we have an if, which tells us that something may or may not happen. Then we want to explore the possibility of what may or may not happen after that does or does not happen. So we use if for that, right? And we can flip them around. The cool thing about conditionals is often you can reverse them. You have to be aware of the comma if you're writing them, but you can reverse them. So for example, if it rains tomorrow, I will stay home. For that one, you say, if it rains tomorrow, if you're writing it, comma, I will stay home. But then if you flip it around and say, I will stay home if it rains tomorrow, then you don't have a comma. So that's something to be aware of. Now that's just one example. There are different types of conditionals. One type of conditional would be to use a would, right? Or were or would together. If I were going, I would bring snacks. That means I'm not going. If I were going, I would bring snacks. So something is not happening in the future. But if it were going to happen, I will tell you what I would do. If I were you, the common expression that we use to give advice, if I were you, I would. Classic conditional for giving advice. That's a different type. So there are different types of conditionals. There are also ones for exploring the past, right? If I hadn't done this, I wouldn't be. That would be an example of how we use conditionals to show regret or to express a feeling of thankfulness, because if I hadn't done this, I wouldn't have met this person. That would express maybe being glad that this happened and exploring the idea in your mind of what if it hadn't happened. But the real question here is, how do you learn these? I'm just talking through a few basic examples to give you a sense of it. This is by no means a final lesson about conditionals. I would encourage you to explore that in more depth. Really, the question is, how do you learn these? And to that, I would say, in the same way that you learn any other thing grammatically, by example. The best way to learn English grammar, like conditionals, is with examples. Do you need to know which one is the first conditional or which one is the second conditional? Do you need to know that? No, you absolutely don't need to know that. What you need to know is how it's used and how you can use it and what it's accomplishing. So how do you do that? Well, there you just find examples that you understand. You have to be able to understand it. So you find an example in an article or somewhere online or in a book that you're reading or somewhere in a movie, but maybe it's better from an article or a book so that you can actually see the sentence there written down. You can copy it into your notes, for example. You've got it there. You understand what it means. Now practice that. And notice differences between different kinds. So if you see one that says, if I were you, I would, then you understand it. Write down one that's similar, that uses, if I were you, I would. Or maybe then try to play with it a little bit. If you were me, what would you do? To ask the question. That's similar. It's using the same basic style, except it's now using it as a question. Then the answer would be, if I were you, I would. So by writing down real examples, number one, you know that that's correct, because if it weren't correct, it probably wouldn't be in this article or book. So you know you're learning the right thing. Number two, you're seeing how it's used in real life. Okay, someone's actually communicating with this. And then you're practicing it directly by making your own examples or variations based on that you can check it against. If you find 15, 20 different sentences that use if in different ways, then you can start to really get a feeling for it with your own examples. Never needing to know which one is the first conditional. Never needing to know that it's even called a conditional, right? Who needs to really know that? English teachers? I mean, really, what you need to know is how to use things, and what you do when you learn how to use things is to look at what other people do and then try to do it yourself, and then you know it. And then when you're in a conversation, it just comes out of your mouth correctly because you practiced lots of examples. So don't put your attention too much on knowing the terminology. Instead, focus on how to use it and making your own examples based on real examples. That would be my advice for learning any type of grammar, including conditionals. I hope that answers your question, Vitaly. It's a good one. If you guys haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And also check out my full courses in the links in the description. All right. November sales, boys. Can't wait to order a gaming PC. Yeah, I need to buy some stuff too. I think pronunciation is more important than the accent. I tend to agree with that. Potter is getting a gaming PC. Good for you. Sasori Master says, I've heard language difficult depends on what your native language is. Is that right? Yes, that's right. That's right. Maybe we can talk more about that in a second. I like that question, but I want to share something else. All right. You may or may not have watched Squid Game. Many people have watched Squid Game. Very popular Korean show about, well, I don't want to say what it's about. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But since then, I've watched it, I think, twice. I've seen interviews with the actors on American TV shows and noticed that some of them have pretty decent English, actually speaking in English. Others maybe not so much, using translators. And I find this interesting. Actors going to different countries to promote their shows, then using English or other languages to communicate, sometimes using translators and interpreters, sometimes not. So what I would like to do is take a look at one of the main actors or actresses from Squid Game, their English. We're going to look at Ho Yun Chung's English, and I'm going to just go through it as I would with a student. I'm going to say, okay, maybe this can improve. Maybe you could work on that. This is not a sort of final score of this person's English. I haven't had a conversation with her, so that would be the real thing I would do. We're going to look at some clips from different things she's been on. I found a compilation of her. She is contestant number 67 in the show. I found a compilation of her speaking English, and I think it's quite interesting. She does speak English, and I think if they're in order, I think her English is getting better, and we'll talk about that as well. So let's go through it. I'm going to show you the video, and we will see what Ho Yun Chung could do to improve her English if she wanted to. And again, this is just advice that I would give to anybody if I were working with them to help them improve. Okay? So here we go. Right?
We want color it. Color. So
Okay. So let's stop right there. So she's saying they have the words on the screen, which is helpful, right? This is, I think, from a Korean show, but she's in another country, I guess, as part of that show, so she has to speak English. So the pronunciation there of cornrow, the thing that I would work on there would be the R sound and then the end of the word. So it's hard to hear, right? She sounds like she's saying kunlo, kunlo. So there I would work on the R and L. A lot of, especially in Asia, a lot of people have an issue flipping the L and the R sound. So I would say the corn part is right, pretty much, but then the low one could confuse people. Low? L-O-W, low? No, row, corn row. Okay, so it's just because that R is right after the N, that makes it challenging. So it's just a matter of practicing it. Corn row, corn row, corn row. Just slowing it down a little bit would be, I think, a good way for her to practice that one.
So how much?
100.
100
for one.
dollar?
Yeah.
$100?
Okay, now this is one where you can understand what she's saying, right? But the pronunciation of it might confuse some people. There's too much of an ah sound. So whether you're in the United States, for example, or in England, it's going to be more or less like dollar or something like that. It's an ah sound. What I'm hearing there is da. It's too much like an ah, an open A. Ah. It's more like the O, the short O sound. Da, dollar.
No. 루피아.
루피아. 만 원이야 한 명당. 오. We are for 350. Can?
No can.
Okay.
Okay, that's one, maybe a slight thing to work on there. 50 is an added syllable in between. 50. There's a f there that's not necessary. That makes it a 3-syllable word. 50. And instead we want to make it a 2-syllable word. That might make it more clear. 50. In fact, most people will say it with a light D sound. 50, or a D sound there. 50.
Already cheap price.
We are for 350.
Can? No can.
Okay.
Already cheap price.
I'm not giving feedback to this lady in the green shirt, but I could. Instead of already cheap price, she could say, it's already a cheap price. Okay. This is just a side point. We're not giving feedback to her.
Okay.
Okay.
그러면
One by one. 다시 이쁘게.
Do you have any 지름길?
Okay, this one definitely needs help. She needs help here. Listen carefully.
One by one.
다시 이쁘게. Do you have any 지름길?
Okay, do you have any? And then she says a Korean word that I don't know. But if you listen carefully, the V sound has been switched with the B sound. And then there's another syllable added. H-A-V-E is pronounced as a 1-syllable word. Have. To say it as a 2-syllable word would be havu. So that's one issue that's fairly common, but there's another thing going on here. The other thing going on here is that she's adding a B. So I'm hearing habu. Do you habu any? Now that could confuse people. That could make people not understand what she's saying. So there, change it to a 1-syllable word and make sure the B is a V sound. Have. Do you have any? Do you habu any? Have any would be the way that I would correct that one. Okay, let's listen to that again.
Cheap price.
Okay.
One by one.
다시 이쁘게. Do you have any 지름길? What?
The best way. The best way.
Fast way?
Yeah. No. Only one way.
One way.
Only one way.
No way. You like me?
Okay, small thing there. You likes me. You would, if you were going to make it a question, you'd want to say, do you, right, as a question. But you like me? It's okay. Sometimes we can say it like that. But she says likes me instead of like me. He likes, she likes, but then we like, I like, you like. So we'd want to make sure that one doesn't have the S after like. You like me? You like me?
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah. Oh, 뭐야? You like me?
No.
Okay, that one's good. You like me? I would put more of a K there. Like me sounds a little too much like L-I-G-H-T. Light me. Like, we know what it means because of the context, right? But there, I would say a little bit more of a K there. You like me? You like me? He says no.
You like me?
No.
No, thanks.
Sorry. I'm a bad.
Okay. There, again, watch the R sound. Sodi. Sodi. There, the D is replacing the R. D instead of R, right? So that would be more of an sound. She can do the R sound. She definitely can. I've heard it a couple times, but she needs to work on that. Sodi, sorry. Sorry.
No.
No, thanks.
Sorry. I'm a bad girl. You are so sexy.
Okay. She said there, that one's quick. I don't know if you caught that one.
You are so sexy.
Okay, she says, you are so sexy. To me, it sounds a little too much like an I. Sexy, sexy. The only difference there, the mouth is a little wider to make the short E sound. That's a small one.
What's this?
This is Korean TV show.
Again there, you catch that? TV, TB. Sounds like a B to me. So make sure the V's are not B's. TV.
Yes. So I will ask you something. Yeah. And how do I look?
Beautiful.
No, that's not. Oh.
Cute.
Good evening.
Oh, she's there. Okay. Hey. What? Hey.
Good evening.
Ah, I think I hear it again. Evening. It's a light B sound instead of a B. Instead of a V. It's very slight there, but I still hear it. Evening. And when you say the B, it's easier to make that another syllable. Evening. Actually, when people say evening, they usually make that just evening. And so evening actually usually is a 2-syllable word. If you say evening, it's okay. But when you make it a B, eba, it's much easier to add a syllable. So that makes it 3 syllables. Evening. And that doesn't sound as natural, right?
Good evening.
This is my
It's like
first Christmas in New York, so I would.
Okay, pronunciation of New York there. I would encourage her to maybe make it a little more the R in York. You could do maybe British, less strong R, but at least a little more O sound. O, a little bit more O, that open sound. It sounds a little bit like New Year. It sounds quite flat.
Christmas in New York.
New Year. It sounds like year. And I also don't hear the K, so there again I would say hit the K a little bit more. New York.
So I want to experience everything.
Good R pronunciation there. Experience everything. That was perfect. And also TH sound, everything. She's got the TH. Very good.
Ooh, Christmas in New York is.
Again, New Year. You hear the flat sound. New Year. Yurt. I'm not trying to criticize her. Awesome. Speaking English. Doing a voiceover in English. Great. I'm just kind of giving feedback because I came across this video and I think it's an interesting tool for feedback. That New York sound doesn't have to be a strong R, right? The British pronunciation or other pronunciations might not have the R, but the that open O sound is there regardless. So if it's New Year, people might think she's saying, and especially around the holiday season, New Year. Because the first time I watched this, I thought she said New Year. This is my first time in the New Year, instead of New York. Okay.
A different word. I could be a
Listen to that one.
Christmas and New Year is a different word.
Ah, different what? Different word? There it sounds like she's saying W-O-R-D, word, word, word. But actually what she's missing there, this is a tough word. It's a tough word. It's world. So there's a L in front of the D, Earl, and you have to roll from the R to the L to the D. World, 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 world. You hear that? So that's tough. It's tough to do, but that's one to practice. World is a tough word to say. You can count it as a 2-syllable word.
Christmas and New Year is a different word. I could be
Sounds too much like she's saying word, right?
better model than them.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Having. I'm hearing the B again. That might be the biggest one to work on. Would be switching the B and the B and the V.
When we were at the school, there were like characters. One is the boy and one is the girl.
There, maybe adding the L sound a little bit more might make it more clear. Girl, girl, girl. Just hitting the L, bringing the tongue up to the L position. Girl, girl would be, I think, good.
The boy's name was Charsu, and the girl name was Younghee.
Gur. Yeah, so I'm hearing gur like we would use gur, G-R-R, sometimes spelled with 3 R's, as a sound. It's an onomatopoeia, gur, like a growling animal, right? We would say it like that. When you say girl, the earl sound is the same, but then you roll like world. It's the same thing as world. Whirl, girl, whirl, girl. You hear that rolling whirl, earl. Now with world, then it goes to the D sound. Girl stops with the L sound. But it's the same basic mouth and tongue movement with that L at the end. It's definitely a challenge, difficult for a lot of people, but with practice, certainly possible.
And the girl name was Younghee.
There, also just a small point, I would say, the girl's name was girls. Make sure to have the S at the end. The girl name, she says the girl name, the girl's name.
Charsu, and the girl name was Younghee, and she's the one.
Let's get dressed. Now I'm ready to go. But I have one more thing.
Hey, that was a good V. I didn't hear habu, right? That was have. That was good. Maybe I think she's getting better. I think she's been improving. Maybe she's been working with a teacher.
Oil. I'm gonna do like.
Gonna. Very nice use of gonna. Very natural. Gonna. I'm gonna do.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. That's very American sounding. All right. Well, there we go. I think she did a pretty good job. I mean, obviously, it's impressive when anybody can be on camera in not their native language, right? That's very cool. So, of course, a lot of credit to her for trying to speak English and not being afraid. That's a great thing. These points are just little things that she might do, or if you have the same similar pronunciation issues, especially, that you might do to just sharpen it up a little bit. Why? To avoid misunderstandings, to have that more natural, fluent sound. So I hope you found this to be interesting. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. And also check out my full courses in the links in the description. All right. I think she's improving. I think her English is getting better, if those are in order. That I don't know for sure, but maybe. Cool. Nice. Amazing. Oliver says, I have to write a blog entry about your video, History of English. Sorry to hear that. Sorry about that. People are assigning that video for homework to people. People are I've seen so many teachers. There's okay. So I am not a historian. I feel a little nervous when history teachers are assigning a video that I worked on quite a while. I mean, I really did research. I was careful, but history teachers are assigning that video to students to write blogs about it and stuff. Not that it's incorrect. I think everything is accurate, but I'm not a historian. So, Paulo, hello. You watch my videos, and your friend Harry. I don't know you and your friend Harry. I don't know if I know anybody named Harry. Harry, do I know anyone named Harry? I don't believe so. I'm afraid I don't know anybody named Harry. Saeed, don't worry, we're still here. We'll be here for a while. Good to have you. You're listening to an audiobook. Awesome. What audiobook are you listening to? Historic stuff. Wow, the content quality has increased dramatically. You mean my content quality, or you mean something else? I don't know what you're comparing it to. What is the difference between linguistics and English? Sure. I mean, linguistics is the study of languages in general. Linguistics is about language, how languages operate, the machinery of language, and then gets into how they change over time, etymology, word origins, things like that. It's a fairly broad category that would include any human language, and English is just one language. It's just one specific language. I think that answers your question. Luke, before you said if I were going to, but the correct would be if I was going to. No, if I were going to, right? And some people will replace that with was, but actually to reinforce that it is hypothetical, then you would want to use were. You would want to use were instead of was. That is actually the best way to do that one. Good question. Fares, is the background a picture or your room? If you don't know for sure, that means I've accomplished my goal. So Sasori Master says, I've heard language difficulty depends on what your native language is. Is that right? So yes, there's been actually a fair amount of study done about this, and it seems to follow the rule of the difficulty of learning a language being closeness with other languages. So what does that mean? Well, that means, generally speaking, someone who speaks what we would call a Romance language natively would much more easily learn another Romance language. So, for example, if your main language, your mother tongue, your first language is Spanish, learning Portuguese is probably going to be a lot easier for you than learning Russian. And the reason that it's easier is simply because a lot of the basic structures of the languages are the same. They're not exactly the same, but there are a lot of similar words. There are a lot of similar grammatical rules in the way that conjugations work, for example. Now, English is a kind of special case because English actually includes many other languages in very meaningful ways. So English has French roots, it has Proto-Germanic roots, it has a lot of words coming in from other languages, and also a lot of people already know a lot of English words from movies and TV shows and books and things like that. So, for example, in modern Japanese, there's so many words that have been converted from English to Japanese. Does that make English easier to learn for Japanese people? It might. It might. And so there's another aspect to it, which is proximity to another language. So, for example, it might be easier for me to learn Spanish than Portuguese because there's so much Spanish spoken and in the United States where I live, and so many Spanish words all over the place that if I really wanted to get really good at Spanish, I think I could probably do that easier than Portuguese or Italian, simply because there's more Spanish around me and I have more of that in the background because it's kind of everywhere. But then maybe learning Chinese, if I don't have that around me as much, it might be more difficult. Okay, well, my wife is Chinese, so that might make it a little easier. So that's sort of proximity and background. But what about the structure of the languages? Well, it also depends on a number of different things. An example would be Chinese. One reason that Chinese is so difficult for a lot of people to master is that there are a lot of different tones in the language. You might have the same word, or maybe it's written out in the same way. It's a different character, so you have to remember a different character, but same basic word sound, but then the intonation makes the meaning change completely, right? Like it goes down and up, or it goes down, or it goes up, or it's flat, like that. And each one of those will have a totally different meaning. And that's often difficult for people who natively speak languages that don't have any intonation. But then for people who speak other languages where intonation matters, then Chinese might be in that way a little easier for them to learn. So it really depends on the different kinds of familiarity, right, within the languages. And that might give you an advantage in some areas like pronunciation, but not others. So an example of an advantage if you're a Chinese native speaker and you're learning Japanese might be that Japanese in history borrowed Chinese characters. So a lot of Japanese words have within them borrowed Chinese characters that might be easier for them to recognize. At least there's a familiarity with the characters. But that doesn't necessarily help you with the structure and the levels of formality, and because it's actually a very different language. It's from a totally different language family. So that's where a lot of the similarities end. So you might think, oh, they're actually similar languages. No, they're not similar languages. It's just that there are some borrowed characters, and that might make it a little easier, at least when it comes to recognizing or remembering perhaps some of the words. So there are a lot of different factors here. Generally, we can say more similar languages will be easier to learn. If you have one that's closer to yours in some ways, at least those aspects will be easier for you to learn. Farther away languages will be more difficult unless you have something around you, proximity or background, which makes that a little easier because you have consistent practice. So all of these things are just factors, just different variables, and it also comes down to your personality. How good are you at learning languages? That's a factor too. How enthusiastic are you to learn this language or that language? You might learn one language more easily than another because you have a reason to know that one, right? When it comes to English, a lot of people are motivated to learn English, so they learn English faster, not necessarily because English is easier, but because if I don't learn English, I can't function at work, so I have to. So I'm motivated. Whereas learning any other language, it's not a necessity for me, so I don't focus as much time on it. So I learn more slowly. So that's also a factor. So many different things that are in that sort of whole equation of how well you're able to master a language. I think for English, English is relatively easy to get in. The very beginning, the basics of the language, you can start speaking English pretty quickly. You just have to learn the alphabet in a few words, and you can start right away. May not be great, but you can start immediately. Then to get really good at English, to master the English language, I think that then is a pretty big challenge. It can be very difficult if you're not a native English speaker. If you weren't born around native English speakers, it's a challenge, but certainly a possible one. Certainly doable. Hope that answers your question, Sasori. I know that was kind of a long reply, but I hope that was a complete answer. If you guys haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and also check out my full courses in the links in the description. All right. Paulo says, I committed a mistake. I made a confusion with another teacher who is a friend called Harry. Okay, that makes sense. I was scared there that maybe I was suffering from memory loss, and I do have a friend called Harry that I just can't remember. Yeah. I meant the video and audio quality. I guess it's called production quality, not content quality. Ouch, what a burn. Historic stuff. That's a very good, if that is meant as a slam, that's a good one. Very nice. PJ says, I've been learning English for 3 years. It's very exciting. Yeah, English, I'm glad to hear it. If you're excited about learning, that's a great thing. That's a great thing. You know what? I didn't share this with the WhatsApp group. Let me quickly do that. Also, I'm going to just mention this for anyone who might be interested. If anyone is interested in helping to run a Discord server, a serious learner who would like to get involved in something like that, reach out to me. Zachariah says, I'm in China right now. I think the English is so easy. Can you tell me the name of the book I can study from? I mean, books. Read books. Read what you're interested in. Follow your interests for sure. Oh, I didn't close the poll. Ah, the results changed a little bit. 30 votes. Still no, Francis is not a troll. But it's only 63% now. Before it was 80. Okay. Let me just quickly share something and then get back to the questions. Share in the old WhatsApp group. Paolo, now I'm very curious to know who is this other teacher with a friend named Harry. This is what I'm curious about. Also, as I mentioned, guys, seasonal sale. If you are interested in improving your English, very serious about it, I have many courses. In fact, 13 at the moment. Well, one of them is a free course, so let's not count it. Let's say 12. And more will be coming out throughout the year and into next year. And it will get to about 20. So if you're interested, serious about your English, you can sign up for a yearly annual membership. It is in the link in the description. That is now 50% off, but you can do a free trial. Check it out, check out the courses, and see if this is something that you'd like to do. If you could go through all of the courses in a year. I take it slow, but even if you take it slow, you can go through all of the courses in a year. And so you could dedicate a year to that. I think you, if you're serious, you'll benefit a lot. Courses on pronunciation, on thinking in English, on idioms and phrases, on writing skills coming out, customer service English. Coming out soon is one about emails, more coming out about grammar this year and next year. So lots of stuff. That is in the link in the description. 50% off, special discount price for the yearly membership. All right? Check that out. And by the way, those courses do have subtitles. Okay. I think we can get to one more thing. I'd like to get to one more thing. So I recently came across a video about specialized words, special words in regions of the United States that might not be used everywhere. But it's kind of an old video. So what I want to do is explore these and see which ones might be common now or which ones may be already outdated. One really interesting thing about language, it changes because people use it. People experiment. New words are added to the dictionary every single year. But some things stick and some don't. For example, the word cool. That word started meaning good, and then it stuck, and now people still say cool. It's a word that became popular and then went even further and went into normal usage. Everybody says cool now, almost everybody, right? That's so cool. Okay, well that happens because at some point people started saying it and it became the cool thing to do. But it could have easily died. So sometimes a word will emerge into the language. Maybe it gets added to the dictionary, maybe not, and then it fades and it kind of dies. Okay, so that's what we might call a fad, F-A-D, fad. Something that goes boop and then crashes. And a word that is kind of right in the middle might be something like FOMO right now, fear of missing out. So FOMO, is that word going to be a long-lasting word that becomes accepted into the language, into common usage? Maybe. Or maybe not. It's kind of on the line right now. It's not clear if it's going to become one of those. So let's explore this. I've got a video. I found this video recently. I find it very interesting, and we're going to just go through it, go through kind of word by word, watch it together. All right, here we go. This has got to be New York. I already know this is New York because I live in New York, and I know this has got to be New York. That's what a deli looks like. This, if it's not, I would be shocked.
So what do you think of those New York Mets?
They're the best. I love them.
Did you watch the games?
Every game, every night till 12 o'clock at night.
No wonder you were sleepy all day at
When you
work.
think about the way someone
They look like actors. Is that real?
from another part of the country talks, one thing that strikes you are the words that they use.
Do y'all have chicken fried steak? I would like chicken fried steak, hush puppies on the side, cream gravy, and an iced tea, please.
What's that?
This is hush puppies. Now, this
Hush puppies. Hush puppies.
is a New York deli. If you want to nosh, if you want to eat, you could schlep all over the world. You wouldn't find what we got here. How about a poppy schmear?
How about a knish?
How about some kishka?
How about a nice bialy?
Now wait,
Yeah, how about
wait,
some
time
Nova?
out, y'all. I don't understand a word you're saying.
Even though we all speak English,
Kishka.
there are many words and expressions used
There you go.
in one place that might as well be Greek to people from somewhere else.
We're talking about the Mets. I think she's talking about the vets.
This drink consists.
So what is a? Hold on a second. All right. Well, I don't know what I can't. Hush puppy sounds familiar. I've heard it many times, but what is it? Hush puppy. I'm searching here. HUSHPUPPI. No, no, that's an Instagrammer. It was a hush puppy. Food. Okay. On Wikipedia, hush puppy or hush puppy, HUSHPUPPY, is a small, savory, deep-fried, round ball made from cornmeal-based batter. Okay, so it's a deep-fried ball. Oh, okay, I know what that is now. Okay. Now the guys in New York are calling it different things. They're pulling out a lot of words that you may not be familiar with, but that's one where I would say hush puppy, no. Not so common, maybe in specific regions, but I'm not super familiar with that.
Syrup, ice cream, milk, and it's all mixed up and turns out to be a very, very fine drink.
And it's a milkshake, right?
No, it's called cabinet. And this
Cabinet? Cabinet? So when I see that, immediately I say milkshake. Milkshake. That's a milkshake. He's calling it a cabinet. We have I say we. Who is we? I know the word cabinet as something that you would have in your kitchen. You know, doors that you open and you keep things in there. That's in my mind what a cabinet is.
of Rhode Island's called a cabinet.
Okay. So, Rhode Island, a milkshake is called a cabinet. Is that common? If I'm going to Google the word cabinet, what comes up? It's just pictures of kitchens. There's no milkshake. But what if I search cabinet and then Rhode Island? Cabinet, Rhode Island. Okay. If I search cabinet, Rhode Island, then a bunch of pictures of milkshakes show up. Interesting. That's a new one for me.
You know what is a gum band?
It's the gum band. It's the
gum band
thing that like you wrap things up in.
Did you ever hear
stretches?
Did you ever hear another name for that?
Rubber band? I think some people call it rubber band. Not here though.
What's here? Okay, Pittsburgh. Gum band. That is a new one for me. So I would call it a rubber band. You put that around your wrist. You, as she said, wrap up packages with it. In Pittsburgh, it's called a gum band. Let me search that. G-U-M-B-A-N-D. Gum band. I'm just searching Google Images. Yeah, a couple pictures. Not a lot, though. What if I search rubber band? That's what I would call it. A rubber band. And then it's all rubber bands. That tells you how common something is. If you Google image search it, you can learn everything you need to know about how common it is. Not everything, but you can learn a lot about how common it is from the number of results you get. How common is cabinet? Not common. How common is gum band? Maybe not so common. And also, this is pretty old. This is probably in the 90s.
Well, I'm in Honolulu, and it's quitting time. What do you say?
Well, you would use the Hawaiian term that everybody knows, which is pauhana. Work is finished.
Pauhana?
And everybody knows that.
I like that one. I didn't know that one, though. Pauhana.
Jambalaya? Oh, yeah.
I know jambalaya.
Jambalaya.
Love jambalaya.
Yeah. What's that? Jambalaya, you mix that with meat, jambalaya, and rice, and you wear a season, and you cook it. That's good jambalaya.
Oh, that sounds great. Spicy rice stew. So jambalaya, when I think of jambalaya, I don't just think of rice stew. I think of specifically Cajun rice stew. So in the South near New Orleans, there's a type of food known as Cajun food. And they have specific words for things like fried rice and stew. So jambalaya is a rice stew. Yeah, it's delicious. But I think of that specifically as Creole Cajun food. Same as gumbo.
Yeah.
Anti-gumbo.
It's diagonal, skewed.
Oh, we learned that before. That's like side-goggling. It's a side-goggling. Anti-goggling. Interesting. Sideways, skewed.
Off from the perpendicular, we'll say.
Anagoga meaning non-square. Anything but square if it's sitting swatchwise.
South and west, anti-goggling. I don't know how common that is. Let me search anti-goggling. I don't know if any Google images will come up. Definition of anti-goggling. Slang dictionary. Crooked, uneven, out of alignment. What about Google Images? Anti-goggling. Yeah, things that are not straight. There's a sideways church or a board. It's the Leaning Tower of Pisa is there. Okay. Okay. Doesn't seem common to me, but maybe.
Snickle Fritz, that's a good one. A Snickle Fritz.
Snickle
Yeah.
Fritz.
What's a
Snickle Fritz. Little kid would be a Snickle Fritz.
A little kid.
A rowdy little kid would be a Snickle Fritz.
A rowdy little kid. Pennsylvania.
What is
Snickle Fritz.
schlep?
Let me search this one. Snickle Fritz. Snickle Fritz. I've heard that word before, but I'm getting a bunch of pictures of a stuffed cat. No pictures of ornery little kids, but I'm getting a bunch of pictures of a stuffed cat. Must be the name of a character from a TV show. It's a TV show called The Big Comfy Couch, and the name of the cat is called Snickle Fritz. Okay.
What does schlep mean? Schlep means...
Schlep, I know. Schlep is definitely an East Coast thing, kind of a New Yorker thing. And you're moving something around. You're carrying it around. You schlep it over there, schlep it over here, and schlep it over there. it feels like there's a lot of effort involved, or you don't really want to do it.
Carry, to lug,
Lug.
to schlep around, to walk around. Everybody in New York schleps. Everybody's carrying something. Everybody's schlepping someplace. We're all schleppers.
We're all schleppers.
Since you've been exposed to some New Yorkers, do you know what this word is?
Shelp? No.
Shelp.
Schlep?
Slep. 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 Oh, slep. Slep.
What does it mean?
Well, did you sleep? That's what I think.
He thinks it means, did you sleep? Maybe this guy's from the South, maybe Texas. He thinks schlep means sleep. What does that show you? That shows you that there are regions, pockets everywhere in the world where you have your own little dialect and your own special words and phrases that might not be known elsewhere. But usually, because of movies and TV shows, a lot of those things will spread around, but not all of them.
Slip.
Slip.
Slip. Slip. What's it mean? Slip.
Slept last night in this room.
Words do tell a lot about the people in a particular place. In the Southwest, where the weather is always on everybody's mind, there are many expressions to describe rainstorms. Any kid from Oklahoma could tell you that. We learn the words we use in our regions the same way we learn our manners and customs from the people around us.
Yeah, of course. We don't think of language that way, though. We often think of language as this fixed thing that comes down from on high in the dictionary. It's not that way at all. It emerges from families, from interactions, from friendships, in regions, special areas. And then those things either stay in those places or they spread. And then if they spread and more people start to say them, then they enter the dictionaries. They enter the language. It goes from down to up, not from up to down. That's how language changes.
Mama, mama, I'm so sick. Call the doctor. Quick, quick, quick. Doctor, doctor,
Okay.
will I die? Count to...
Or the people who raise them.
I think this is more about...
Just pick them up over here and wipe off your clothes.
Once kids become old enough, they learn their language from their peers, the kids that they play with, kids the same age or those who are slightly...
I think this part's more about the way that language is learned and the way that it's spread. So it starts with your family, and then eventually you start having these little experiments with your friends. And that's where you learn from your peers. So that's where a lot of experimentation happens. A new generation who might want to be a little different from their parents might say, all right, let's make our own sort of code words unconsciously. Let's make our own things that separate us from our parents. And that is a very powerful force because it creates a new generation of language that separates the generations one from the other so that you can kind of identify them. But then those words, those phrases, those idioms, those ways of expressing things then start to spread around, but at different degrees. There are no, as far as I know, hard rules that say which one is going to spread and which one isn't, which one's going to get popular or become popular and which one isn't, right? Like cool. Who knows that that's going to become an extremely common word in everyday language? Who knows? I mean, who could predict that? It would be interesting to study whether you could engineer one word to be perfect at becoming popular. Maybe there is a study about that I haven't seen, but I find this whole process very interesting. And some of those things I know, maybe it's because I live in New York. Schlep is something that I hear very often and something I say very often, and I didn't really know the other ones. Like Snickle Fritz, not very well at least. Cabinet, definitely not. Maybe it's just because I live in New York. That's possible. Huh, I have to think about that. Maybe I need to travel more. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And also check out my full courses in the links in the description. All right. Saeed says, what accent is the most close to American Standard, do you think? I'm not even sure what American Standard is. I'm not even sure what it means exactly, to be honest with you. Do you have something about writing an essay? Yes. Essay writing is part of the How to Learn English course, which is just out. So check out that one. I think we're going to call it a day. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. Again, courses on sale, special price on the yearly membership. You can check that out in the link in the description. You can do a trial to try it out if you like and see what you think. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button as usual to support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one. Have a great week. And I'll talk to you later.